Today we have someone really, really cool, Nancy, to come give us a talk about robotics. I'm going to do a little bit of a longer introduction later. Let me just say a few words about Create and Learn. I know many of you are our old friends already, so you know me. I'm Jessie. I'm founder and CEO of Create and Learn. We are based in the Bay Area. We're finally getting a sunny day because it's been lots of fires in this area. Normally we do small group classes of 4 or 5 people, and this kind of a larger event is pretty special for us. So we invite experts like Nancy to come talk about really, really cool technology related things. And we have 2 robotics classes, and both of them uses a tool from the organization that Nancy is in. So as you can imagine, that we're super excited about to have her here. So with that, let me just introduce Nancy a little bit more. I met her about 2 years ago in a CS4O event, and I was instantly super impressed by how passionate she is about computer science education, especially robotics. And I'm really, really excited about what she has been doing. She was a teacher before, and then now she's mostly a teacher for teachers. So I'm gonna have her introduce herself some more. And another really cool thing is, and Nancy is one of the top 50 most influential women in robotics, which is very, very well deserved. She's very good. And she also have a bunch of cool stories to tell you today. So with that, Nancy, I'll hand this to you and go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Nancy McIntyre, and I was a teacher for 23 years. And I've spent 20 years, some of that overlapped with my teaching time, in competitive robotics. For the last 8 years, I've worked for the Robotics Education Competition Foundation, and I've had the privilege to be able to travel around the world helping to get robot teams started. Most of my career at the foundation has been working with teachers, getting programs established. And recently I moved to the development department. And so now I'm heading up some special projects. One of them has been working on our girls initiative called Girl Powered. One's been the International Robotics Honor Society. We've created and developed an alumni association. And then I'm working on a brand new initiative, well, not brand new, I started it a couple of years ago with a couple of colleagues on putting robotics programs in the schools for the students who are deaf and hard of hearing. And we will double the number of deaf and hard of hearing robotics teams that we have this year as part of that initiative. So that's growing by leaps and bounds. So I've changed the scope of what I've been doing a little bit, but still working for the foundation and doing some really cool stuff along the way. So with that, I have a question for you, and I've got to find my chat feature. I'm going to ask a question, Jessie or Karen. When I've got my slides in full view, I lose my chat feature.
The chat is on the drop-down menu on the top, right?
Let's see if I can find, there's chat. There it is. Okay, now it's back. Okay, so my question to everybody is, if you could create your own robot right this minute, what problem would you like for it to solve? What would you like your robot to do? Homework. Oh, I see that. Somebody doesn't want to do cleaning. Somebody wants to play chess. That's a great idea. Homework. All right, homework, chores, carry stuff is good. Solve COVID-19. Thank you to whomever that one is. Homework, chores, do all your chores. All sicknesses, thank you. That's a good one too. Homework and chores. To make me a business. Ooh, there's an entrepreneur out there. Clean your room. To play with you. I'm gonna show you one that'll play with you in a few minutes. Stop pollution. That's a good one too. Play soccer. There are robots that play soccer. Swim. Ooh, I want to talk to the one who wants to do the swimming one, because you've got to be able to think of all types of things, because electronics don't like to get wet. Global warming, cure COVID, lost track of time, maybe that's somebody who's just joining us, play games on your Xbox, driving, cars. Okay, these are really good. Helping you take photos. Oh, that's cool. Let's see. Stop world hunger. There are robots that can process food, and I'm going to show you one in just a minute. Pollution, help in hospitals. Yep. Play tennis, play baseball, help elderly. Oh, these are all great. Ride a bicycle. Oh, I want to see R2-D2 ride a bicycle. Help blind people drive. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so we've got lots of folks out there. I've got a few more questions for you as we go through the presentation, so keep them coming, and we'll check in on those again in a moment. So let's see, slide. Okay, so the first slide I've got for you comes from a company called Universal Robotics, and they've created an entity called Cobots. And Cobots are cool because Cobots work with people. So some industries have places where only the robots are doing things and they're doing dangerous tasks. But this is a whole new generation of robots that are working and interacting with people. And one of the really cool things about Cobots is that they're doing their job and they're helping in factory type settings, manufacturing type settings, and they put the Cobots in between, and you can spread the people further away, which in COVID-19 we know is a really important thing to keep everybody safe. So let me play this one. I'm going to show you two pieces in this one, and then we'll move on. These are heads of lettuce. So this one, the second clip can help with processing food, doing it faster, more efficiently. It's a repetitive motion, and robots are good at repetitive motions. And the first one was working with either a Fidal machine or a Haas machine. And if any of you are familiar with 3D printing, that machine is a CNC type machine, and it does that on a very large scale and usually works with metals. So this is a sorting machine, and it's a robot that works directly with people. And I'm going to let the person who from Kindred talk to you about this particular robot that interfaces. And this one's used by a company at American Eagle Outfitters, which you might have seen in the mall. They also work with the people from the Gap. And very similar type systems are also used in the distribution centers where things from Amazon come. So all of those things work very, very similar. And this one's just a really cool one to take a look at. So let me cue that one up for you.
At Kindred, we specialize in what we call physical world manipulation. When you pick something up and know what it is and put it somewhere else, we are teaching machines how to do that very simple human task. This is the time for those AI robotic solutions to come into play. Our customers have been able to improve the livelihood of those people who are operating in these facilities.
Our employees here have really embraced the robots. They all enjoy them. They're like part of the team. The Kindred sort robots have given us the opportunity to teach our associates new technology. I think that's important. It gives them an opportunity to learn something new. We've always taken a hand in trying new technologies. The Kindred sort robot is a great example of that.
You plug them in, you turn them on, and they start working. It's literally that easy.
The training on the Kindred sort robot is a very fast process. Probably only takes 1 to 2 hours for an associate to get up to speed.
Now they're able to interact with the robot collaboratively and do things that humans are better at.
It allows me to move other associates into other parts of the DC where their attention may be needed.
99% of the time, it's operating fully autonomously. When the algorithm doesn't have competence to perform its task, a Kindred employee steps in for less than a second to help the robot finish the job. And then we teach the algorithm that, so the next time that algorithm can do its job and function on its own.
Technological advancements in hardware and software have far exceeded my expectations. This has given us the ability to transform our supply chain network in an elevated, multi-brand, omni-channel operation. The partnership has been phenomenal.
At Kindred, we believe in using AI and robotics to solve real-world complex problems and elevate the human condition.
One of the cool applications that they have within their robots is that if the machine isn't able to do its job, the humans can come by and can assist it. And the robots in these machines have the ability to do something that's called machine learning. And they will learn from what the humans do, and they will be able to do it better the next time. So that's a huge step forward. So I'm going to ask you another question. What repetitive task could you give to a robot? What's something that's done over and over and over and over? Okay, some of you are going to tell me homework again, but if you could get rid of it. Mine, I would get rid of would be emptying the dishwasher. I hate emptying the dishwasher. It is just one of those things I do not like to do. If I can get somebody else to do it, that's the job I'm going to get rid of. So let me know watering the plants. Actually, that's a really good one. Cleaning, folding clothes, chores, clean your room, mowing the lawn. They would do a good job mowing the lawn. Laundry, trash, helping me and my parents. Yeah, they're probably doing all kinds of stuff. Doing chores, laundry, doing good things for poor people. I think I saw somebody taking the dog for a walk. Making PPE, that's a good one. Cleaning up your room. Laundry, gaming. Okay, you've got lots of good answers out there. So thanks, I appreciate those. The next one. This one is a brand new invention. This gentleman whose name is Adam was out of work, and he decided he could either be out of work and be upset about it, or he could invent something new and make a difference. And so what he created was a cart washing system. So all of you have been to the grocery store before, and you probably all know now that everybody is wiping down all kinds of things because they don't want to touch anything and they have to wash their hands, and we're trying to be as safe and as careful as we can. So this system is designed to wash carts automatically. And you put it in, it drives right through, almost like a little car wash. And it runs completely by itself. It sprays chemicals on the cart so that it sanitizes it and allows you to handle it when you get into the grocery store and not have to worry about somebody else's hands that were on there that could make you potentially sick. So that was just a brand new cool invention. It's a robotic system to handle all of this. And I bet you could probably put that to good use for lots of little things. So that was a neat one I wanted to share with you. This one's a little more technology driven. My hope is that some of you have heard of the smartwatches, the Fitbits, and those types of things. Scientists are looking for, and technologists are looking for ways to utilize that smart technology that uses Bluetooth to be able to track where people are, that maybe these smart pieces will be able to tell you if you've come in the vicinity of somebody who's tested positive for COVID-19 so you can protect yourself. Maybe that means if you didn't have your mask up and you were walking down the street and your beeper went off, it would tell you that there's somebody in the vicinity, and it might give you a clue to put your mask on if you didn't have your mask on. Or it might tell you, you're in a condition where it's dangerous, and you'll make sure you wash your hands or do something. It is also, they're looking for some of them that can sense some of the physical symptoms. If your heart rate starts to go up a little bit, or your temperature starts to go up, or you're having trouble breathing. And these devices can sense are starting to be able to sense some of those things, and they're hoping that they can send a message that says, hey, there's something wrong, you need to go get this checked out, or it can ping somebody else and say, hey, we've got somebody in trouble here. So they're trying to find ways that those can possibly help for you. So that's a new piece of technology that's coming using robotics components. This one's using AI, artificial intelligence. And I thought I'd toss this one in there too. Alphabet is the parent company for Google, and I'm sure all of you know who Google is. And Alphabet also has DeepMind, and DeepMind is kind of a think tank. They've got lots of people that work together to create different brand new cutting edge types of technology that utilize all different types of things. And these are F-16s. They're fighter jets, and what's interesting about these fighter jets are they are being flown completely using artificial intelligence. There are no pilots in there. So if you've ever seen a flyover at a sports game or something else, there's always pilots in those, but this is the next generation. These are actual fighter jets. And the hope is that we can utilize this technology to help keep our military folks safe and sound. So that's something that's just coming down the pipeline that I thought I would share with you. And this is Moxie. So Moxie is a cute little robot that is designed for working with young children, helping children to learn to recognize things. The facial features on Moxie have the ability to react to the person that they are talking to. It can serve as a playmate. It can help students who have challenges. There are students out there who have challenges figuring out how to interact with somebody else. And this little robot is designed to be able to help somebody learn some of those different skills, how to make eye contact with somebody, how to tell whether somebody's happy or sad. So it's a special little robot that's got a great job. I can see this one also being well liked for senior citizens or somebody who might be disabled, who's looking for a companion, or looking for somebody who might be able to recognize this robot might be able to, I don't know if it can do this yet, but maybe it can communicate if somebody's injured or somebody needs assistance and can let somebody know. So it's got some great features out there. I was hoping I would get to do this conference the day after, but it's tomorrow I get to go to a meeting to learn about this particular robot. So I don't know a whole lot about this one, but I thought it was really, really cute and I'd share it anyway. So this one brings me to the Turing Award. And what's cool about the Turing Award, it is the most prestigious award that is given for the world of computer science. In math, they have the Fields Medal. In many of the other sciences, we have the Nobel Prize, but the Turing Award is what's given in computer science. So I've got a question for all of you out there. Each and every one of you has the ability to become a great computer scientist. I want to know, I want you to put your thinking caps on, and I want you to tell me, what are you going to do to earn your Turing Award? When they present you with this big fancy silver bowl or platinum bowl, what is it you will have done? Ooh, somebody made a hoverboard. What is it that you're going to do to earn your award? So go ahead, give me your best ideas. Let's see. Space travel, make a jetpack. Space travel, I've got another one, hoverboard. Let's see. Time travel. Ooh, I like time travel. Time travel is really cool. Teleportation. Oh, that's a good one too. Oh, now they're going so fast I can't even read them. A smart wheelchair. I like that idea. Let's see. An interdimensional portal. Portals to intergalactic places. Time machines, flying car. Cool. All right, we've got a whole bunch of them out there. Good. So one day I hope one of you or all of you are standing up on a stage and somebody is going to hand you that Turing Award. And you might remember that you got your start with this particular organization, learning something about computer science and getting excited about technology. So the organization I work for is called the Robotics Education and Competition Foundation. And we manage the more than 26,000 VEX robot teams in more than 70 different countries from all around the world. And so this is what we do.
What I see here at the VEX Robotics World Championship is just excitement and energy. These kids are just having fun. And that's the whole thing about VEX Robotics. They're having fun and they don't even realize how much they're learning.
All the way back in 2008, what we learned actually mentoring kids was what really got us passionate about doing all this. And we saw such a huge change in the kids' lives and what they did that we wanted to figure out how to take this to all the high schools in the country.
And that's what was important to us, is to reach every kid. It's just grown crazy. I mean, we're super excited and sky's the limit right now. Sky's the limit.
The reason we created it is because we wanted to channel students' passion about competition and their love of robotics to really get them interested in science and technology.
And what's so cool about this being a truly global event is we have kids working from kids on the other side of the globe, and there's no communication gap because they're all speaking the same language of robots and STEM.
This is our first VEX Worlds. We've never been here before, and the scale of this whole competition has been inspiring. I grew up getting involved in robotics, struggling to find enough people to build a team, and I show up here, there's 1,400 teams, and these are just the best of the best.
And I'm absolutely blown away with the amount of energy and really just the enthusiasm. I work in the Signal Corps, which is the IT arm of the Army, where the robots actually go and deploy. What they do, this is more than just a passion. It's something that can translate into a viable career.
Knowing the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math is a sure way to solve the world's problems that we will face in the coming years and decades.
Yes, we have a huge skills shortage in the world, and organizations and programs like VEX Robotics, they are what's going to help us overcome that, because they're making STEM cool.
What kids don't know about robotics is that it's really approachable, it's hands-on. Second of all, there's a programming aspect that a lot of people don't know about. We're seeing this really new interest in coding. Understanding what's happening behind the screen is really critical.
I can tell the kids that are coming out of here are kids that I can hire at Google. They know how to work in a team. They know how to program. And they also know how to deal with failures, more importantly.
We rely on innovative thinkers. They're able to take problems that have not been solved before from scratch and come up with those complex solutions.
We have students that are going into mechanical engineering, software engineering, and they're really looking at those STEM careers beyond high school. Our competition teams are also extracurricular, so they stay after school several days a week, several hours at a time.
Technically, robotics is every Thursday lunch, but we're there every day. Once you get started and once you're passionate about it, you can't stop thinking about it.
It has been a lot of work to get to this point. We worked day and night and barely finished in time for this competition. I thought it was an amazing experience.
When they announced the Mentor of the Year award, the rest of the teams came out of the stands and they just ran up there and they flocked and they gave him big hugs. And at that moment, you could see what an impact he was having on their lives. I gotta say, it actually gave me goosebumps on my arms.
We have to learn how to work together and encourage each other no matter where you come from, who you are, what your name is, or the color of your skin. I'm not saying there's not gonna be challenges, because there is. But if you're willing to do it, you can always learn.
About 40 years ago, when I started thinking about this stuff, I had no way to imagine that I would show up in a place where there's tens of thousands of people, and it looks as though we may, in fact, be about to change culture.
Okay, so I noticed in the chat page, wherever you happen to be, it said your school did well, you won in 2018. I think that clip I brought was 2018's clip from when we were in Louisville, Kentucky. So if you were in Louisville, if your school was in Louisville, Kentucky, I was there with them for that particular event. Actually, I've been to every one of the VEX World Championships. The very first one was in 2008. I haven't missed a single one. We did, this year's we did virtually. And one of my jobs was to pull together all the closed captioning that was going on for different parts of the event as it took place. So it was a little bit different for us, but we're hopeful that somebody will have things figured out and it will be safe to all come back together again. And we hope to be back in World Championship mode in Dallas, Texas next April. So hope to be able to do that. These are two stories I want to tell about students who I've taught. I'm going to start with Amelia. Amelia graduated high school in 2009. And when she was a freshman in high school, she walked into my honors biology class on the first week of school and came up to me and said, I want to be on the robot team. I have absolutely no interest in robots. I have absolutely no interest in building anything. I'm going to be really honest with you. I want to go to a big school. I need a good extracurricular activity. You have a great reputation for getting kids scholarships to go to college. You've got a wonderful program that everybody knows all about. I like your class. I enjoy being with you, and I promise I won't be in any trouble. I said, okay, you can be on the team. And she was. And for 4 years, Amelia never touched the robots. She would do anything else that I needed to run the team. So we needed shirts, we needed a logo developed, we needed an engineering notebook put together. We had, because we were a club, we had club days. She would show up and do all the club day things. And she said, I'm just glad to help. And she was always willing to do whatever needed to be done, but kept telling me, I'm not interested in the robots at all. I just want to be on the club. Okay, no problem. So fast forward to senior year, she gets accepted to go to Berkeley. She wants to study marine biology. She was my kid, my student in class who was going to save the world and had a great heart and was going to do really big things and loves the environment and loves to scuba dive. Love the dolphins and the whales and the turtles and everything else, and wanted to make things better for all of them. Well, she found out the first week of school when she was at Berkeley, and she emailed me immediately and said, oh my gosh, I decided I better be a double major. I'm double majoring in marine biology and mechanical engineering. I figured out that if I can build my own submersibles, so to whomever wants to make the robot swimming, I should introduce you to Amelia. She knows how to make those things. She builds her own submersibles, has traveled all over the world working on research projects, throws them over the side of the boat. She's a certified scuba diver. She dives down with them. She collects whatever samples and does that, brings them back up, does all the data analysis that comes along with all that, and can fix her own submersibles. So every research scientist on the planet wants her for part of their research study. But like I said earlier, Amelia has a great heart, and when she was in high school, her high school service project was to help get technology programs and specifically robotics teams started in Micronesia, on the different islands in Micronesia. We started with the teams, we started with the schools on Yap, and then she's moved out to some of the other outer islands. And that's a picture of her teaching a class on an introduction to robots. And she had to call me the day before she left, and she was going, I need to borrow your PowerPoint slides from when you train teachers. I said, I thought you were gonna work with students. She's like, yeah, but I need all the graphics that you've already got. So she uploaded all my stuff, and off she went to go do all of this, and does wonderful service work in Micronesia, and has kept up with that, and is currently working on her PhD, marine biology at Cornell. So she's doing great things, and I just want to make sure I shared her story with you. And the other story I've got is, his name is Austin. And in the picture on the screen on the right-hand side of the three boys, Austin is the blonde-haired young man in the middle. And Austin came to me as a student in our middle school. And Austin, although he's a very smart kid, had some challenges at schools, school. He was part of my middle school robot team. We had a middle school and a high school. And when he came over to the high school, he had some big challenges making the transition, and worked his way through those different challenges. Managed to get accepted to go to college at the University of Colorado in Boulder. And I will tell you, both Amelia and Austin worked their way to, by the time they were seniors, part of my teacher training team, since I taught teachers. Both of them have traveled with me in the summer to Hawaii, which is where I did my teacher training on Oahu, and would help with teacher training workshops. So both of them had done that. And then Austin continued to compete with robots. He always loved to build, always loved to tinker, and started a VEX team. And that's one of his VEX teams. They build 2 robots, and then even hosted robot events for us in Colorado, where he went to school. And when he was a senior, I got a phone call on a Sunday morning, and he was just all excited. He could barely keep himself together. And I finally had to tell him he wasn't making any sense. I said, please hang up and call me back again. Take a big deep breath and let's start all over again. And he hung up and he called me back a few minutes later, and he said, okay, I'm better now. He said, I just didn't know how I was going to tell you. I told only one person. He said, technically it was 2. It was my parents, but they were on the speakerphone, so they only counted as 1. Then he got all obsessed about telling me whether it was 1 or 2 parents that he told, but said he wanted me to be the very next person that he told. He had just gotten his first job. And the first thing I wanted to do was give him a hug, but he was in Colorado. So I told him I was very proud of him. And I told him he had worked hard for a very, very long time. And I knew that all this robot stuff was going to pay off at some point in time. And oh yeah, by the way, what was he going to be doing? And he said he was going to be an engineer. And I told him I couldn't have been any prouder. And he said, oh yeah, I'm working for SpaceX. So this young man who had all kinds of challenges through middle school and high school found a way to overcome, got through engineering school in 4 years, ran a VEX team, was an event partner for us, and his first job is working for Elon Musk. And about a year ago, Elon Musk sent up a car, one of his Tesla cars, a red one, signed by everybody there, and Austin's name is on that car. And when the astronauts went up a little bit earlier this year, on the very first mission that took people to the International Space Station, as soon as they safely had taken off and they were dismissed, Austin texted me and said, you know, he was so excited. And again, I told him how proud I was. And I stayed glued to that television the day that it landed. And the instant that it touched down and those astronauts were safe and out and back on the ship and out of the capsule, we just had a big sigh of relief, and we were so excited for Austin and all of his colleagues at the job that they had done. And so those are just 2 of my students. I could tell you stories like this all evening long, but I won't. But I am going to tell you, this reminds me that your futures are incredibly bright. There are really big things out there for you. All of you are going to have jobs that don't even exist yet. I was reading an article this morning as I was going through my notes for this presentation, and ACTE, which is the Association of Career and Technical Educators, sends me a news feed a couple times a week. And in their news feed today, it talked about these are some new jobs that are just being created. And one of them is going to be a space travel engineer, because somebody, instead of just taking a trip on an airplane, so say from wherever you happen to be to, I don't know, so let's send you to Micronesia. You get on a plane and you fly to there. Well, now people are going to be going out into space. So we're going to need all the people that are going to handle the luggage that's going out into space. And we're going to need the ticket takers, and we're going to need a whole entire brand new industry. Plus all the people that are going to make those spacecrafts safe, all the people that are going to teach everybody else who works for them on what they're going to need to do. We're going to need interstellar city planners. If we're going to Mars, somebody's going to need to figure out how to build a community out on Mars. What are all the things we're going to need to take? It takes more than 6 months to get there and more than 6 months to get back. So food is going to be an issue. How are we going to do plumbing? How are we going to do oxygen? How are we going to do transportation? How are we going to do housing? We're not just going to stay in tents. So we're going to have to figure all that out. It's going to be you guys that are going to need to figure all those different types of things out. Somebody said, my dad is in the Space Force. Your dad is probably the coolest person on the planet. And that's going to be my suggestion if you're looking for another speaker. Whoever, this is Eddie, whoever Eddie's dad is, one, thank you for your service. And two, you've got probably one of the coolest jobs on the planet. We've just created a brand new branch of the military. So we have the Air Force, the Marines, the Navy, the Army, the Coast Guard. We've also got the National Guard. And now out of the Air Force, we've created a brand new division called the Space Force. So that's really, really exciting. And that's going to be a whole nother entity, plus all the companies that are going to need to be developed and built just to support those folks. There are going to be more folks developing self-driving cars. There are going to be folks out there that are going to be, this one's going to sound really silly, trash and recycling construction specialists. So somebody's going to have to figure out how do we repurpose all that stuff? And the other day I stopped at the grocery store, and there's a little Walmart grocery store not too far from where I live. And the employees in the store just got brand new vests. So you knew who was an employee. And the vests said they were made out of, I think it was 5 or 6 recycled soda or water bottles. So somebody was able to repurpose them. They actually were kind of cute. They were gray with some green piping on them. And somebody had to engineer all those types of things and do all that kind of neat stuff. So those are two stories. That's a little bit of what's coming down the road. So please know, whatever it is you happen to love and you're passionate about, there's going to be a job opportunity for you if you continue with all your coding and your love of math and science. So the group that I work for, the Robotics Education Competition Foundation, and I don't want to bore you with this because probably at the moment you're more interested in some more footage, and I have footage for you in just a second. But I know there's some parents that are on the line as well. So we've got programs that start from preschool to grade 2. It's called VEX 1, 2, 3. It's a brand new program just coming out this year. Elementary grades, grades maybe 2 through 4-ish. For the VEX IQ, VEX Go Challenge, can do both of those. Grades 3 through 8 can do the VEX IQ program, which I think a lot of you fall into. My 9th graders that I saw on there, you're going to fall into the high school platform for grades 9 through 12. And then we've also got a platform for college. So we've got lots of different options. There's 3 or 4 different programs for most of the different grades. With different things for you to be able to go through and compete with. So since the overwhelming majority of folks on the line today fall into elementary and middle school, I brought a little more information about the VEX IQ program. It is a teamwork challenge, and you play in 60-second matches, your team along with another team, and you share the scores. And then there is an autonomous challenge and a driver skill challenge, and all kinds of things that you can do with that. And through most of the programs, there's also a series of online competitions that they can compete in as well. And I'm going to make sure at the very end, I'll leave my last slide up, and it's got my email. So if there's some parents out there that want more information, I'm glad to share that with you. But I want to show you some of the top end of the program for where I hope all of you will be coming somewhere down the line. VEX Code is the coding platform that works through all the different programs, and they all tie together, scope and sequence for those of us in education. But I know this isn't something that the students are looking for me to focus on, because I think you're going to get an activity in just a few moments. RAD is our aerial drone program for those of you that like things that fly. That's a brand new program. So it's middle and high school. So there's a bunch of you that would be eligible to be able to compete in that one this year. We've got a brand new one that I just went to a meeting on, I went to one this morning on AMC, which is an advanced manufacturing competition that the young man, Dylan, who now works for us, was an intern while he was in college, helped with technical things, and was a competitor when he was in high school. So we had him there, and this is what this new program looks like. It is for high schools, and is also going to go out to community colleges, and will be developed into a brand new competition. We're just piloting this one this season, so I don't have a lot of information on it yet. Just what I heard this morning. And then our last new program is called VEX AI. This one's all artificial intelligence. This one is all completely autonomous. This is high school and college level, but something that I want you all to aspire to at some point. And so this one comes with one more video. I'm only going to play part of it for you, but to give you a little bit of an idea about what this one's about. I think this one's really, really cool. I haven't seen this one yet. It's the one I'm most looking forward to seeing this season. Okay, I'm going to leave you there. You're going to get the links to all the videos if you want to see the rest of it. It's also up on YouTube. It's on the VEX Robotics AI site too. So there's some more information out there for you. But I want to make sure we left a little time for questions, and so that you have an opportunity to do some of your activities. So at this point, let me stop sharing the screen. Wait, let me make sure. Hang on, I've got one more slide. So for anybody that's out there, for the parents, my email's down there on the bottom in the left-hand corner. If you've got a phone, go ahead and snap a quick picture of that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Nancy. So what we're going to do next is, I know we're short on time, but still we're going to have Gigi, who is going to show us one of the tools from VEX. This one is entirely virtual. We actually have a class for this, but it's only for grade 2 to 3. But for those of you who are higher grade, you can always go to the website yourself and then try to drive the robot around and do some challenges. It's really very, very interesting.
All right. Thank you, Jessie, and thank you, Nancy. That was really, really inspiring. So as Jessie mentioned, I'm going to show you a quick demo of VR VEX, which is what we use in our junior robotics classes. You get to code a virtual robot to move about, to draw shapes, and you get to learn how to solve challenges that are also the same challenges that are used in robotic competition. But for today, I will show you how you would use this virtual robot to draw a geometric shape, a square. So I'm going to look at my chat because I'm going to ask you. So the first thing we do when we need to draw something, right? We need to understand what we're drawing, right? So for example, what kind of a polygon is a square? So how many sides does it have? And how many angles, so that we know what we need to do, right? We need to draw. So can you just quickly put on chat? Like, it looks very much just like Scratch, exactly. So you're using code blocks, and they're also color coded. And instead of the motion code blocks, we're going to use the drivetrain, right? So because we have to draw a square, we're going to have to use a purple or two purple code blocks. We need to use the move robot pen down, right? And then we need to set the robot color to whatever color you want. I'm going to set it to blue. So that's right. So we have 4 sides and 4 angles. So we can either go drive forward, let's just say 400 millimeters, right? This is, again, this is very similar to like move 10 steps in Scratch. And then you could do the turn right for 90 degrees because that's the angle of our square. So we have 4 similar length sides and 4 similar angle sizes, right? So I can copy this drive forward and turn right, or what can I use to make my code look cleaner? What kind of loop should I use for this? Anybody? We're gonna have to do this 4 times, right? So instead of having 4 drive forwards and 4 turn rights, the repeat, exactly. So I'm gonna go into my repeat. I'm gonna put my repeat block just so. I'm gonna change this into 4. Now we don't have a stage in VRVEX, but we have a playground. So I use my Art Canvas playground here, and I'm gonna play my code, yeah? And there goes my robot. And it's going to draw a square. And for those of you Scratchers who love to use functions, and again, functions are just these blocks of code that typically you write because you want to reuse it, right? And then, so you can call it wherever in your code again and again. So we're going to create a quick function because I want to show you what else you can do that would make your square really look cool. So we're going to make a block, and I'm just going to make a block that will draw a square. Yeah, just like so, very similar to Scratch. Here's my definition, and I'm just going to move my repeat block, right? And then I'm going to put my draw square. I love the Scratchers in the group. And then I'm going to add something like this. So again, just like Scratch, whenever you see these numbers, you can play around with it, right? Oops, 20 degrees. And I'm going to put that inside a forever block. Can somebody tell me what this is going to make, maybe? Any guess? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going too fast. All right, sorry, Giovanni. So I just changed my code to have a function or subroutine that draws a square. And I'm using that subroutine now. It's in my block that I just defined as draw square, right? So if you look at the right side here, you'll see under define draw square is how the square is going to be drawn. And then I'm calling it in the main section of my code. And so I'm going to run this code now. And it's going to draw a square. And since it's in a forever block, it's going to go forever, right? And you can think of all the different kind of geometric shapes that you can draw. And all you have to think about is, again, the robot doesn't know anything. So you have to give it step-by-step instructions, including putting the pen down or putting it up and setting the color of the pen that you want to use. So here is our robot drawing a very creative, I call it a square flower.
Yeah, so for those of you, because we don't have enough time, that's why Gigi is going through it very fast. You can take a screenshot. If you don't have time to just finish it here, we're also going to publish this video. You can also look at this video later on. But for now, you can try to follow along and do it.
So for those of you who are inspired, I would love for you to actually try VRVEX, try to draw the most creative shapes that you can create with your robot, and maybe send us a screenshot in an email. I would love to see what kinds of really creative projects you come up with. And I was, oh, there you go. Thanks, Jesse. And you can send that to classes@createandlearn.us. So again, this is just the beginning. We do so many other fun things in junior robotics. You get to navigate mazes. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's lots of really cool things. This is one of the tools that VEX actually created. This is the organization that related to, or Nancy works for. That's really cool. We can do it in 3D as well.
Yeah, that's a big difference between Scratch. Yep. And that, yeah, you can definitely draw a triangle. Just now you have to really think. A triangle has 3 sides and it has 3 angles, right? So now you have to figure out, because you can draw an equilateral triangle, you can even draw a right triangle, but you have to figure out those, how far distance you have to travel and what the angles are going to be.
Cool.
All right.
We are going to bring back Nancy. Nancy, I know there are some questions. Thank you so much, Gigi. Thanks for showing this. It's a really, really fun class. By the way, this tool actually started to be available maybe about only 3 or 4 months ago. So we were very happy that we were so excited when we saw this tool, and the class has been really fun for students to work on.
So, sure, I had a couple people who asked me, how do you get a team started? And if you have a parent or a teacher, contact me. I can give them all the technical information on how you register a team, how you get one started, how you order a kit, where you find all the game manuals and all of that type of stuff. So I'm glad to provide that. The other question I received a couple times, excuse me, was how are teams competing during this challenging time with COVID-19? So the students who are in New Zealand, and we have a lot of teams in New Zealand because I helped start the teams in New Zealand back in 2008. Right now it's safe for them to be all together and compete, so that's what they're doing. We've put together what's called a restart guide, and we have different types of instructions, and we are working with everybody, whatever their local guidelines are and that they have to follow, people will follow. There it is. So that if people are allowed to have competition and people are allowed to go, then we gave them guidelines for what they can use for those. We've developed a remote part of the competition where a team could be at their school and they could be using Zoom, much like we are doing now. And the students would have their robot and they would show it to a referee who's someplace else on that Zoom call. And then they would put it down on their own field and they would start and they'd run their match and it would time and they could score it. And so there's a whole protocol on how to do that. So you can run 24 teams in 25 different locations, so that they can all be safe wherever they happen to be and put their scores in. We also have a series of things called the online challenges, and teams are able to participate in the online challenges, and they can do all that remotely. There's a CAD challenge that students can work on. There's been a programming challenge. The rest of them are due out on September 1st. And in fact, I'm still reading and proofreading for somebody else on some of the challenges. So I know they're coming. I have a stack of them to read tonight to make sure that there's no spelling mistakes or things in them as we get them ready to be posted on September 1st. So those are coming out in the next couple days. We're hopeful that somebody's going to find a vaccine and develop a vaccine that's going to be safe and effective that everybody can use. And that, sometime later this season, we'll all be able to come back together and play again. But we keep working on new options for finding ways that are safe so that students can continue to build and continue to learn how to code, which really for us are the most important things. I know you all want to come back together and we want to see all of you, but we're just hanging in there with everybody else. So I think those were the two biggest. I know somebody did ask me how they got the F-18s to fly, or F-16s, I'm sorry, to fly. Much like the Dragon missile that went up to the International Space Station. So before it took the astronauts, that same exact capsule went up to the International Space Station. And I can tell you in 2012, my very last project as a teacher was to work with a group of students, and we had a science project that launched on that very first mission to the International Space Station. And that capsule went up by itself, launched up there, it docked by itself, and it came back with our project all by itself. So we know how to do all of that already. So that's, it sounds really difficult and there's a lot of coding and stuff like that, but we know how to do those things already. And my hope is in the very near future, all of you will be able to do that as well. So I'm going to turn this back over to you. Thank you very much for having me. And I'd be glad to come back and answer more questions or stay on the line if you need me to.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Nancy. What I just did also was I sent the link of this flip book. It has a lot of the cool information. I'm going to try to send this out again so that everyone knows what this link is about. So if you're interested in knowing more about the organization, the competitions, you can find it from here. We are going to invite Nancy come back maybe in a month or so when the school's kind of settled to talk a little bit more about how to do competitions and how to get started. They have a series of competitions that you guys can start doing starting from a pretty young age and then all the way up to college. That's like super exciting. So with that, we are wrapping up our class today. Thank you, Nancy, and thank you, Gigi. That was a fun exercise as well. We will send the video out in a couple days, so you can ask your parents to keep an eye on the email, and you can follow along to do more of the robotic stuff after you get that email, or the website is always there and you can do it anytime. We will have another very exciting talk in a couple of weeks, early September, and we have a super cool speaker. He used to be an engineer and a very senior engineer actually in the Silicon Valley Bay Area, and then became a photographer a few years ago. And so yes, he will be telling us about technologies and taking pictures. I'm sure you'll learn a lot of fun things from him as well. So with that, thank you again, everyone. Really great to see you all, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.